All right, for segment 2, I'm using the segment 1 banner, but this is going to be segment 2, so maybe we'll say a couple poo-poo words. Who knows? But we are going to give our final thoughts on Beyond the Supernatural before next week we start Nightbane. But right now, it's still Beyond the Supernatural. We're going to give our final commentary, what we think of the game, how it fits in with the Palladium universe, any other anecdotes that we want to just kind of put out there with regard to this before we move on. And yeah, so hold on here. I thought I had these things in here. Whatever. That's the disclaimer. You can pause it and read it, know it, love it, because it's all true. And not my truth. It's the truth. And you can go ahead and look at the description below. You can find our social media, our Discord. Come join our Discord for all types of craziness happening. I can't even keep up with it all. It depends on what you like. We got all types of games. We can even add more games if you want. All types of games, all types of nerd topics and commentary. Insanity on the internet. What else do you want? Like a whole bunch of things going on there. If there's a game that you want to talk about, it's not just Palladium. We talk about a whole ton of stuff. You can also check out our merchandise. Yes, I don't have the pictures there from the Redbubble store anymore, but maybe I will add some new ones on here in a little bit. But we have like 28 designs on the Redbubble store. And if YouTube's working properly here, you might even see some things you can buy right here on this video that you're watching.
Yeah, just go look below on the shop tab.
Yeah, I haven't checked out to see how that exactly works yet. But it might be that simple. Heathen Dog may already have bought some things, and I don't know about it. And of course, that is our live stream schedule. On Sundays and Fridays, you can catch, on Sundays, you can catch me and Heathen Dog talking RPG Digest. That's what you're watching right now. Or you could be if you showed up live. Segment 1, we do fundamentals and overviews of games. We do it in a family-friendly format. It's okay for everybody, even if you hate what we do in segment 2, because segment 2 is our opinion and commentary, where we tell you how things are. That's right, how things are. We use our opinions as facts because our opinions are facts. That is correct. On Friday, I'll be back in the Friday Night Chill stream. New time. I actually need to change the slide. I just realized that. New time is 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, not 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Come on by there. Guests come on. We talk about life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness within the tabletop gaming hobby. And of course, Thursdays and Saturdays, Heathen Dog plays. Well, currently Dungeons and Dragons Online, but it could be any co-op game with a bunch of other Legion Myth folks. And insanity. No, I don't want to say insanity. Shenanigans ensues. And of course, last Friday of every month, we have the members only, where we give out announcements. Some pretty good announcements, I think, came out on this last Friday. Don't you think? Said some good ones.
Yeah, and no one here is gonna hear about it until next week. But that's the way it is.
Actually, some of them they're never gonna hear about it. It's just gonna happen. They won't know why. All right. Yeah.
All right. So, final thoughts. I'm gonna make this as succinct as possible about Beyond.
We're just starting a segment, man. You can take an hour. I don't care.
As it pertains to Palladium Megaverse as a whole. What I like and dislike. I like the low power feel. Okay, you have your supernatural element, which is great, and you have the idea of alien intelligences and demons and stuff like that. But on a low magic world, when they come in, they are sufficiently lower power, which means the player characters have to be sufficiently lower power. But I like the mechanic where the player characters, when they're not facing a supernatural thing, are just nerfed, like awfully nerfed.
I wouldn't say nerfed. I would say that they're back to normal. They're back to normal.
My final thoughts. Shut up.
Normal. I'm saying if I want to.
You can say it in your time. Stay in your lane. Anyway, you are nerfed until there is an actual supernatural threat. I like that mechanic. I really like it a lot because it makes you preserve your pool of ISP for when it really matters. You're not, unlike Rifts where you're throwing around ISP like it's Mardi Gras, you're throwing beads around. No, you're not doing that. You have to conserve your power because you have precious little of it. You have to use tactics more. You have to use all of the skills you have, all of the hand-to-hand combat tricks you can do to have any advantage you can get. It makes the players think, react tactically. I love it. I really love it. Now, flip side. Because it is a low power campaign, you're not going to feel like a powerful character. You're going to feel like a normal guy who's just really skilled. You're going to feel like that most of the time. And as a player, I can understand how that can make you feel some ways about stuff. I get it. But if you want that, there's other stuff in the Palladium Megaverse. There's Palladium Fantasy, there's Rifts, there's Chaos Earth, there's Robotech, There's not anymore, but there was Robotech, stuff like that. That you can play if you want like mega damage and super powerful magic and stuff like that. There is that niche for you, but when you're playing Beyond the Supernatural, you're not going to feel that. You're not going to feel that stuff. And personally, I think I think Kevin should have amped up the insanity mechanic a little more. Not Call of Cthulhu level, but a little more. Like maybe have a chance that all psychic character class players start with some kind of minor insanity, just because this is what of an event that got you into the supernatural, that made you aware of it. It's usually a traumatic event. And
Internet troll?
What's that?
Internet troll is an insanity?
No. Well, it should be, but it's not. So I think there should be a more emphasis on the insanity mechanic, a little more, not a lot more, just a touch. And I think then you would have a really great supernatural low power campaign that you can base in the current time period, use current maps, Google map it out, and you can print that off, and boom, there's your play field. You can do that with a modern day game, which I like. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got for me.
So how does this compare to Nightbane?
Nightbane is much higher supernatural content.
Okay.
You definitely are more powerful as a PC in Nightbane.
Okay.
And you definitely are more powerful as a PC in Palladium Fantasy. You definitely are generally more powerful as a mutant animal in After the Bomb. You just said your duck would run circles around my ghost hunter. You just said it.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to think of how humans are created there. If you create the mutant humans, see, I don't like the mutant humans. I go to the old school way where you just make humans.
But they're generally more powerful.
Yeah.
They have more ISP, they have more powers.
The main weakness of them is the fact that humans have better armor, better technology when it works. When it works.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, I was trying to think what the balancing factor there was. But yeah, the only reason I disagree with the nerfing is because that's how your character is most times. He actually gets buffed when Supernatural's around. But I guess if you're comparing it to the other Palladium games,
that's what I was doing.
But I don't see it as a problem. One of the things that people have been trying to razz me about recently is because I've talked about things like slow leveling. I can play a first level character for 10 years. As long as the game master doesn't just throw crazy stuff at us, I can play the same type of character for a long time, enjoy it. I don't need this power creep that a lot of people seem to have constantly. Traveler, for example, you're like, well, you should try Traveler then because you don't even get new skills in that one, or it takes a while to get. Okay, that doesn't bother me. I'd happily do this. I'm not looking at my character sheet going, I need 600 more XP. You got to give me 600 more XP. I should get that today. Like, no, I just mark down my experience as I get it. And when I get it, I get it. When oh, hey, I leveled up. Can I do these things now? One of the reasons I loved Earthdawn so much was the fact that everything was backward in that regard. You did everything first. And then once you could do it, you're considered that level. I like that mentality. So I don't mind that the game's nerfed. My only issue with the game is it's not my type. It's just not my style of game. I just wouldn't be interested in it over the long term. Nothing bad about the game itself, because as Heathen Dog knows, I don't care about Call of Cthulhu. And correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't most investigators in Call of Cthulhu pretty normal people?
Well, they are all called investigators, and it's a skill-based game, so you could be however kind of investigator you want. But yes, they are generally normal people. You can choose to be you can choose to learn to cast spells. I don't recommend it because you go insane every time you learn a new spell, and every time you use a spell, you go insane. So I don't generally recommend it. But yeah, everyone's a normal dude.
So that fits the genre. And even if you start using some of these genres that we've talked about, how many times we mentioned like X-Files and Supernatural and Outer Limits and Twilight Zone and some of those obvious themes that were brought up. Some of these guys can mention, people mentioned Dresden Files and so forth. All of these type of shows, none of them are superheroes.
No.
Now, sometimes in Walking Dead, I was like, wow, I wish I knew somebody who could just every single time you pull the trigger, hit somebody square between. Like, that's just amazing. I don't even know cops that do that constantly.
Yeah,
But,
a handgun from 50 feet and you get 3 headshots in a row.
right?
That is not, no,
Possible,
sorry.
yes. Probable, eh.
Yeah, well, no, possible on a range. In a real fight, improbable. Very improbable.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, as far as the setting, the genre goes, it's not for me, but at the same time, I like where it sits. I think it is built well. I do like that the insanity mechanic is in the game. I do like the horror factor that's in the game. I use the insanity mechanic. I know, Crafty, you're wrong. You want super specialized Gonzos. Gonzo's anything that's just fucking nuts. If it's nuts, it's Gonzo. You can't handle that? Go find a real definite, or go read the real definition of it. God. Sword and sorcery is Gonzo. This is not sword and sorcery.
It's not your game.
Yeah.
But you respect it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I'm glad that there's more out there. In fact, oh my God, Kevin or Sean, don't listen to what I'm about to say here. I didn't mean to do this. So there's a guy at work who said, I think I'm going to pick up Beyond the Supernatural because you guys reviewed it. And I was like, well, hold on. Before you do that, you might want to just make sure it's the game for you. There are other options out there like Call of Cthulhu, what I mentioned, Vaesen. There's another Chill Cult. I said, depends on what you're looking for. Look into these games first. Yeah. Sorry, but it's because he kind of, I felt that he kind of wanted to grab it on like a snap, like, oh, you guys talked about it and it's a different type of game. I want to get it. Well, it might not be the exact one that works best for you. So
well, you should have told him, hey, you should watch all the videos first and then make a decision.
He did, but we don't have videos on some of the other games. Well, I mean, he had to go back in time to really find the Call of Cthulhu ones.
That's what the YouTube channel's for.
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
But he watched all the videos and he was interested in it, and you just cock block Kevin. You're a dick.
Yeah, okay. Well, you know, then at one point or another, we can all be dicks. And no, Crafty, if you read the fucking definition, it's in the goddamn dictionary. It says anything that's extreme, unusual, or whatever the hell else the word is. All that nonsense is that. Oh my God.
You let it go?
No, I'm not, because I actually said that we might cover
Beyond the Supernatural. That's what this is.
No, you didn't read the title. The title says it could include other things. Chainmail bikinis are Gonzo. They're Gonzo. It's fucking nuts. Doesn't make any goddamn sense. It's Gonzo. If it's that weird, it's Gonzo. And what's his name that had the elephant people thing? That was just weird fantasy stuff. That was neither Gonzo or not. Yes, according to that definition, we're Gonzo. Right. Segment 2, not what's this? Okay, segment 2, people not checking the dictionary for definitions. That's why I just gave it to you. But no, that goes back to their stabbing conversation where he says it's sword and sorcery, not Gonzo. And no, they're both damn near the same thing. Sword and sorcery is a little more grounded, but Gonzo is crazy. There you go. So, want to scream over what? What did you want to scream over? So what did? Oh, I thought people were talking more about that in chat. Yeah. So
anything else?
There was, I mean, about Beyond the Supernatural now.
Okay.
I don't, but there are a couple other things. This keeps coming up, so I'll just bring it up real quickly because we do have to do a segment 2, right?
Yeah.
Like, can't just be a 5-minute segment 2.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm trying to find where it is. Sanity on the internet. Isn't it there? Yeah. Okay. I've seen this thing multiple times today. Or not today, this week. Let's see if I can post the original. This one, I'm going to let Heathen Dog read this one.
What?
Yep. Because I just ranted. Now it's your time to rant. I don't know if you're going to be able to get through this without ranting. There you go.
The more Logan, the rest of it means he's a douchebag. The more I think about it, the more I hate that expected reward for clearing a dungeon in D&D is gold, gems, and valuable art. You are effectively looting the lost artifacts and cultural items from a long dead kingdom of that peoples likely survive to this day. Okay. No one is stopping you from Indiana Jonesing all this shit. If your character wants to give it all to a museum or give it all to the people that it's quote unquote belonged to before, you can. No one's stopping you from doing that. Nobody. So take the high road and do that. Oh, wait, no, that means I'm going to die because I'm going to be under geared and have absolutely no money. I'm gonna have to sleep in the gutter every night because everyone else can afford an inn. I'm going to be camping every single day of the rest of my life until I die of pneumonia. Yeah, but you're noble. Fuck off. Play a different game then.
Wow, I just saw my YouTube, like everything went blank for a second. I think we're still, what, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Oh, and
Okay.
Violence says, if the survivors can't be bothered to get it themselves, it sucks to be them. Yeah. Usually when you go into a dungeon, some evil being or group or whatever has commandeered that area. They stole it, and they from either the peoples are all dead because they killed them, or they fled and they didn't, buff up and try and get it back. You got it back. And if you want to give it to them, if they're still alive, that's fine. If they're not, if you want to preserve the legacy of a weak civilization, fine, give it to a museum. There's no museum in D&D. Well, build one, bitch.
I've done historical societies in D&D before, where like
There
the
you go.
king,
Give
where the
it to
king.
them.
The thing is you're never gonna get what it's actually worth when you do it that way. And even in Earth Dawn,
Oh,
you guys did a couple when you went to Par Length. You did this. You didn't
Yeah.
make it quite through Par Length, but
No.
you were giving it to that. I forget the name of the society, but that dude who lived right outside there, he was asking you for some stuff, and he somewhat geared you for it. You guys went in, and no, you did not get what it was worth. Of course, at that circle, I never would have given you what it was worth anyway. But you did get stuff for it so that he could preserve it, and you got other things in return. Or if he didn't need it, he just cataloged it and gave it back to you.
Right. And the thing is, if he wanted it, it was probably magically radioactive, and I don't want it anyway. Just give me some money for it so I don't get cursed. If he
Right.
didn't want it, it's probably safe to own. That's Par Length, baby. It's the Chernobyl of Earth Dawn.
Yeah, I think you guys barely made it out of the maze, and you were like, "We're not going back in there
No,
anymore."
we're not going back. That's dumb. We're not going in there. It's crazy. And Chimerian says, "Oh my God, the virtue signal."
Yeah.
We're wandering through the ruins, buried in a dead empire and being used by hobos. Let me find out the inheritors of the dead mage kingdom that fell 2,000 years ago and give it to the now frog people or whatever that they devolved into.
Just want to remind everybody, there used to be this thing called the Library of Alexandria. What happened to that?
Oh,
And who do we get to thank for that? But yeah, I want to see how you react. I mean, I didn't have much of a reaction to that, other than it's typical these idiots that
virtue signaling nonsense. You know what? Don't try to use this as a teachable moment for people you don't know and don't care about you. If you have such strong feelings about this, play that way in your game. Don't make other people play a game the way they don't want to play it. And shut up. That's it. How hard is that? Oh, for super lefty virtue signaling nonsense asshats like you, it's impossible. I forgot. Sorry.
Yeah, if you want to run an adventure, like I said, that includes some sort of museum, like a historical society, the Thieves Guild. That was one that I remember they gave. That wasn't you guys, but they gave. They sold some back to the historical society. They accidentally kept a couple items, and they the other ones went to people like wizards. And because again, you know that I keep players poor to somehow, some way. They found ways of selling it to where it needed to go so that they could keep the income coming in. And I mean, it wasn't the entire campaign. It was actually a short portion of the campaign, but you can do things like this. You can add like, hey, I know this dungeon exists, and this dungeon, if you want to call it a dungeon, whatever happens to be, this settlement, the city, this whatever exists.
Ruin.
This ruins exist. Unfortunately, I think it's inhabited by beasties and nasties and things. Oh my! I would like to hire you guys to clear it out, but I this is my answer. I'm trying to learn about my ancestry, or trying to learn about some forgotten magic from long ago. That'll actually probably get them more interested, involved. But you're too low level to learn it. But if you recover it, bring it back to me, I will teach it to you. Now, whether you will or not, that's just something that'll happen later on. I don't see why you should dick players when it comes to that. But hey, it could be a fun revenge trope. The point is that the fact that you're going into that you should expect people like you said, Indiana Jones is saying this belongs in a museum. No, I think it belongs in my hands, chopping things better.
Yeah.
That piece of art that I have appraised to be worth about 6,000 gold. You know what? I think the Thieves Guild will give me a little bit better deal on that, and then sell it for 120,000 gold after they make 15 fake copies of it. So what
else you got?
No. I thought you were going to rant about that a little bit more.
No, there was not. It was very simple. Very, very simple.
People in chat are still mad at me about the gonzo term. I don't care. I don't fucking care. If it's extreme, if it's out of whack, that's gonzo. So there you go. And that doesn't mean that a fireball is gonzo. A fireball is not gonzo. It's a fantasy trope. Is chainmail bikini bad? No. But it is a gonzo. It is a gonzo environment. It is not something. There's no way a chainmail bikini would protect you in any form, unless it's purely magical.
Called shot to the boob. Oh, darn it.
Right?
That was it.
That's
when a chainmail bikini will protect you.
Yeah, when things get over, and that includes B movies. B fantasy movies are gonzo.
Yes.
Because they're over the top excessive. They're exaggerations.
That's their lane. That's their niche.
Yeah.
Too crazy to be considered an actual artistic film. But we want to make money off this nonsense. That's how we do it. Fine. Has a place.
What's this?
Oh,
cool
that's staring is rape.
Oh,
chainmail bikini of remote eye gouging.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I've been corrected. I didn't know that. That's that female privilege you were talking about.
Oh yeah. That's why women wear as little clothing as possible, because it actually it
hinders them.
Lower the amount of places you can harm them.
Why would they? Never mind. But I'm not against it. I'm not against it in any way, shape, or form. I wouldn't have it in my D&D game, but if I were running, say, MCC, wouldn't bother me. So, anywho, yeah, I guess we can move on to segment 3. This has been a really short episode. I'm actually trying to draw it out a little bit, but there's just nothing else to draw out. So I guess we'll go on to segment 3. And oh, by the way, because I didn't say it here, no, we aren't going to move on to segment 3 because I forgot about the new aspect of segment 2. But before I do that, I want to go up here and say, what are your thoughts on? It's not about that. That was the one thing that was said on the Discord, but really, it's not just about chainmail bikinis. About what's gonzo and not gonzo. I personally don't like gonzo fantasy, and gonzo is anything that just goes way over the top. That's my status. And some people, I think it was Crafty and somebody else was on there saying, no, what you're talking about isn't gonzo, it's sword and sorcery. I'm like, bullshit, that's gonzo as well. That doesn't mean that every aspect of Conan is gonzo. There are definitely gonzo aspects to it. Because I think Conan was the thing that was being mentioned. So what are your thoughts? What's gonzo? What's not gonzo? What do you think about Beyond the Supernatural? Do you think we covered it fairly? Did you do you like our final thoughts on it? What do you think about low-powered games versus higher-powered games? Did you think that Heathen Dog's character from segment 1 on a different video was horrible or awesome? Let us know. And finally, when you go dungeon delving, do you sell all your stuff to the Humane Society? That's right, I said Humane Society.
Yeah.
Or do you keep it? Or do you sell some and keep others? What about that potion that has been down there for those 2,000 years and you try to drink it? What happens when you drink it? Is that potion still good? Who knows? Or does it turn you into a frog?
That's poison. I sell it.
That's as a potion.
Yeah, I'll sell it as a potion to get the money for it, and then whoever else drinks it, that's on them. Buyer beware, bitch.
There you go. All right, let's look at wow. So what was last week? Last week we talked about 1 D&D, and we had a ton of comments. People had feelings about 1 D&D.
I love it when people have feelings.
So are you ready for the first one?
I'm ready. Hit it.
Okay, the first one from the Lost Hermit, who gave us a couple of comments, was you guys really helped me through some difficult times. Thanks for providing some commentary. It's great to hear, and I needed this distraction right now. Also, Asians are the global majority. They especially don't get to do all the they especially don't get to go all minority rage over social issues.
Fair. I mean, I'm not going to listen to minority issues from anyone from the Middle East over through India, all the way through China and Southeast Asia. I'm not going to listen to that because they got their own group, and that's most of the people on the planet. So shut up. You have issues? Great. Don't say they're minority specific, because you're not.
Yeah, see, Thunder's a cartoon. I don't care what people do in cartoons. Is it Gonzo? Probably.
It is.
I don't know.
All right,
Wizard. Somebody mentioned Wizards too. Is that Gonzo? Probably, but it's a cartoon. I don't care.
Yeah. So, that was pretty level headed, and and I did not expect you to pull that one out. That was nice.
I'm not just gonna look. He said thank you. He said we're helping him through difficult times. So
and we don't know what those times are, and I'm not going to guess on that. But everyone has some stuff to go through sometime or another in their whole long life. So I'm glad we could help. That's great.
My comment to that was, I'm certainly glad you enjoyed the comment. Though if you're trying to heal, I would suggest our less opinionated, aka segment 1 fare. It's probably better for the heart, mind, and the soul. Stay well.
Fair enough.
Now, the second comment I pulled out is from Stephen Foster.
Stephen Foster.
Right now, they can't control what you play. But now if you're playing wrong, they can correct it. They want full control. I'm so glad I don't play D&D.
Yeah, well, one D&D with combined, actually no, D&D, WotC D&D combined with D&D Beyond equals you don't own anything. We can change your books at any time, and you have to give us money every month to use things we're gonna hook you on. That's it. That's all it is.
Heathen Dog and I might differ on this.
Omanal, you are correct, but it doesn't mean they're bad.
Right. So I said, yes, there are so many other good, better games out there. Even with my love or nostalgia for TSR D&D, I'd much rather play Palladium Fantasy, Forbidden Lands, Earth Dawn, etc. So yeah, go find this. Now, to be fair, some of those are written by Woke, not Palladium. At least I don't think so. He hides it if it's true, and that's fine. If you hide it, that's good. But yeah, I mean, there are other games out there to play. Is it Omanel or is it Weird Guy? One of them keeps talking about, I never played D&D or I didn't start with D&D. Oh, no, I can't be Omanel. That's got to be Weird Guy then. It's like I'm still a D&D virgin. And you know what? At this point, I'd probably say, yeah, go with that. So
yeah, that's probably a good plan. You should stay that way. There's a lot of STDs out there called 5e, and you don't want to catch one.
Yeah, and apparently that shit's contagious.
It is. It is.
The last comment that I got here is like, so and I pulled this one out because I think he was being serious.
Okay.
So, do mention that some folks literally do not have the mental capacity to envision things in their mind or understand conceptual ideas.
Then you shouldn't be playing things that rely on just those aspects of your brain. You should probably do something else. Play checkers. That's probably where you're going to land. You know, card games. That's your wheelhouse right there. If you cannot imagine things in your head and you're playing a game that requires you to imagine things in your head, then you're playing the wrong game, and that's not my fault. Dick.
So I would tell you my response to it, but you just said it. So like that's exactly.
But some people who drive Formula One race cars don't know how to drive. What about them? They die. Those motherfuckers die and they kill people. That's why they're not allowed.
The worst.
You know what? You shouldn't play D&D if you can't use your imagination. You probably shouldn't.
The worst myth of tabletop role-playing games is that gaming is for everybody.
That's a lie.
That is a lie. It is not. They want it to be for everybody for sales, but it is not.
Some people just can't do some things.
It is for people that at least have a modicum of an imagination.
Yes.
It's for people.
If you're in the like 1% or whatever that can't picture things in their head or scenes in their head that haven't happened, you exist out there. I'm sorry for you, but playing a game that requires that level of imagination is not for you. Sorry.
It's fun to see how Kai tries to fit his rants into 200 characters. Wait. There are people who don't have imagination playing an imagination-focused game. Are they just useless machines going through a flowchart for optimal solutions?
They could be. They actually could be. They're all just a whole bunch of Twitter bots.
You know, you've sat at the table with some of those players before. I know I have.
I don't think I can't recall someone being so blatantly unable to imagine things that I noticed.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not sure I have either. Not to that point. Not to the point that video made it sound.
Yeah, where I went, what? You know, right? Because if someone said that, well, I just can't pick. No one has said in my presence, I just can't picture it without a map, figures, and everything laid out in front of me. I need the dungeon crawl map. No one has ever said that in my presence. Because if they did, I'd go, the fuck you say?
No,
That's what
I've had people say where I'm running games because things can get a little chaotic.
I can say where I'd rather have, or it would be easier if, but not I can't. I've never heard I can't.
Chimerian. So yeah, there have been people that sat at the table and be like, especially when things get confusing or fast paced and so forth. Because I do more theater of the mind. I use miniatures as abstracts on the table, like
they're
you're about
usually
here.
just dice.
Yeah. We use dice, flip them over for how many hit points they have left, pennies, whatever, lint. I remember doing a Battletech game in high school where we used lint as one of the mechs. That's what happens when you grow up poor. I didn't have all this privilege that people keep telling me about, but
all this white privilege, you didn't have it.
Yeah, I did not. But what was I saying? Oh, but sometimes be like, wait a minute, where am I? I thought you said there's a tree in the way here. Okay, here there's the tree. There's this. Oh, okay, yeah, I get it. And you can move on. But I've never had anybody like you're saying, like, I can only see myself in the character. That's it. In fact, the only person that I remember talking to that said anything about seeing yourself in the character was you when you were convincing me to play the mage game. And you said, because I already played vampire, played a little bit of white werewolf, but I hadn't played mage before. And it's like, I don't know. Like, I'm not into that. He said, well, what's it about? And one of the things you said was, well, imagine if you were you, but could bend reality.
Well, the reason I said that is because you, at the time, as you were really into spiritual, spiritual things like the New Dawn in
Golden Dawn,
stuff, Jewish,
the Golden Dawn, the Kabbalistic,
all the Kabbalistic stuff. So you were already into that. So that's why I used you because,
Yeah, no, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. Like you did anything wrong with that. It's just, and you're right. That was a very good way to present it. Imagine if you had, you were you, but you had this power. I was like, okay, yeah. So I actually think that character was a little bit more me than I wanted it to be.
Yeah, fair.
But anyway, yeah. But still, and there's nothing inherently wrong. Like I think we did have a couple of comments on there about people saying, well, if somebody wants to play him or herself, why not? Well, again, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. And I think we've all done that
every day. You insufferable asshole. You play yourself every day. Why do you want to keep doing it for fun? Right. If you're having so much fun playing yourself, don't play a game. Just keep being yourself.
Even if you're playing the idealized you, it's still not you.
Yeah.
Because you're doing things you can't do. So now give it a beard and a different color of eyes. Oh, you've already started the process of now give it shiny armor and a battle axe. Hey,
and the slippery slope of you being schizophrenic has just arrived.
Yeah, right, there you go. Yeah, it's the only person I heard say something like I can only imagine playing myself in an RPG was the girl, and that's exactly who we're talking about. So
that's it. Yeah, it's the only time I've heard something so nonsensical. And it wasn't, and it wasn't to my face, because if someone said that to my face at me, saying, and with the idea that I should tailor my game so that they could play, I think my hand would strike on its own.
I have no control. I have no control.
Just it would be over before I knew it happened. She would taste the back of my sinewy hand. Do I purport the violence against women? No. Does it happen? Yes. Is there sometimes a reason for it? Yeah. Are they good reasons? That's up to you. There's usually a reason.
Depends on your game and your table.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, so there we go. We're gonna try to do this going forward. I haven't decided if I'm actually gonna clip out some of the comments, put them on the screen or so forth. That's extra work. Yeah, that's extra work though that I don't know if I have time for. Like today, I didn't have time for it.
That's right.
So we'll see if I have time for it. I might do things like that. Heath Doug's already pressuring. God, okay, right. Yeah, we'll see. But I'll grab 3. That's my goal, is to grab 3 comments. They're not going to be the craziest ones. They're not going to be the worst ones. They're not going to be the best.
I want one crazy one. Come on.
Well, what I'm trying to do is I want to pick one positive, one negative, and one specifically on topic, almost like a question.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was trying to do. But there's so many comments with the one, and I went through all of them. I went through all the comments. It's like, agrees with us, agrees with us, agrees with us, agrees with it. Oh, that one didn't. So I pulled that one out. Agrees with us, agrees. But what's this? Grim Jim put out. Yes, Grim Jim. He's got Gore RPG. People gave him.
Waiting for Whitechester. I can't wait.
Did you get the email?
Preview.
Oh yeah.
No, I got the email with the preview.
Yeah. Yep.
I read the preview, but it's lacking in a lot of stuff purposely because he doesn't want it leaked. I get it. I'm waiting for the PDF, man. The whole thing.
Have you looked it over yet?
I did.
I did not, because I'm intentionally wanting to be surprised when I get the book.
Okay. No, then I won't tell you.
Just, is it good?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It is a lot of flavor, but the rules that I saw, obviously he didn't give all of them, but the rules and stuff that I saw fits with the complexity, the seeming complexity of the world. Like it's not overruled, it's not underruled. It seems like a nice little Goldilocks zone of play mechanics.
That's awesome. Darthic, you absolutely, again, I think we've all at one point or another, somebody's going to say, I didn't do it. Fine, you didn't. But a lot of us, most of us at one point or another have done the trope. I mean, wasn't the D&D cartoon even based on that? Like, oh, we got transported back in a time where where you play yourself. And I mean, I actually had a DM come up to me one time and say, Slow, stop. What? Write down everything you're wearing and that you have on you and in your backpack right now. Okay. He's like, okay, that's your equipment for your character. Come on. Okay. So I think at one point or another, everybody's done something like that. The problem is, the issue is the expectation of that, or the I can only do that. That's what's wrong. So anywho, all right, let's get people in here. I finally dragged this out to the point where we can bring people in and how do I end the segments now? With that?
Yeah.
Please like, subscribe, and share. There's one more. Always end the segments with, those are the core values of role-playing.